Hello YouTube, this is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, and what you just heard is what we are going to be chanting in just a little bit after I do introduction into what this is. So we are going to be chanting a mantra for Shiva, specifically a mantra for the vibration of Shiva known as Mahadeva. Maybe you've heard of that. That happens to be my spiritual name. And that has a lot to do with what Mahadeva's vibration is connected to. So obviously this is Shiva, and in the Vedic understanding there are three deities that are controlling reality, manifesting reality, and that is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Brahma is the creator, represents the Big Bang. It represents in your body your lower self. In your navel center you have your unconscious, your subconscious mind, you have your psyche. This is the creation, manifestation in the physical world. This is Brahma. And then you have Vishnu. Vishnu is the preserver. Vishnu represents the heart. Always, anybody worshiping Vishnu, always worshiping their own soul, their own heart. And Vishnu, the name Vishnu means to create space. Comes from the same root where we get the word village. What is a village? A village is where people, usually you're cutting away some forest and you're creating some space so that homes and buildings can be created. It's a place that people congregate. It's a safe space for people to live. In the Norse tradition, the pre-Christian Norse tradition, the word for temple was ve. Comes from the same root. Ve means literally space, spiritual, sacred space. You weren't allowed to bring any weapons into the Ve, because the Ve is what? It's your heart. So we have the lower center, which manifests and creates. We have the heart center, which preserves and experiences life. And then we have Shiva, which represents transformation. People use the word destruction, but that's the dance. Shiva's dance of destruction doesn't mean destruction the way you and I might think. It means to destroy limitation so that you can evolve to the next level. So Shiva is associated with the upper center, the third eye, the meditative mind, where we go beyond up into the heavens and we move beyond this physical realm. And so Shiva is a meditator. This is a depiction of Mahadeva, and there he is by what? The moon. Because Mahadeva is a vibration of the moon. The moon represents your meditative mind in exactly the same way that the moon, unless the sun is shining on it, the moon is dark. It reflects the light of the sun, and the sun is the soul. So you have within your body, you have your soul, the direct experience of your soul. But when you're in human form, sometimes you need to reflect on it, which is called meditation. So that's why Shiva is seen as the master meditator, because he reflects on the soul. The Vishnu worshippers are absolutely correct when they say that Shiva is the ultimate devotee of the soul. That is true. So that makes him a master meditator. And the moon is associated with your emotions. So there's a difference between your intellect and your mind. We're talking about the mind. The mind reflects the soul. The intellect is what grinds you into physical reality, figures out physical problems, keeps you in the physical when you need to. That's its job. When it's doing its job, it helps you figure out and navigate in the physical realm through your brain here. But your mind is a meditative reflector. It moves up and beyond and meditates. And the full moon represents our meditative mind up in the sky, up in the stars, reflecting down the light of the soul onto earth, your physical body. So we are going to be chanting a mantra for Mahadeva, the aspect of Shiva that brings balance and healing to the mind, to the emotions, and to the physical body. Because the moon also represents life force energy like prana, chi. Whenever you do any of these energy exercises that you see me doing here, you are empowering that same aspect of the moon, which is if you go deep into Indo-European mythology, the moon will represent the soma, the drink that brings immortality, complete health and immortality. In the Norse tradition, it is mead that Thor drinks vast quantities of mead, which gives him the power of lightning. Mead represents the healing, the same thing, the power of the moon to bring life force energy and healing. So we are going to be tapping into this. Now, this is a 12-syllable mantra. So this is really important to get a mantra from a trained Vedic practitioner. And if you go to astrology.thunderwizard.com, you can get a reading from me or from one of my trained apprentices. And not every Vedic astrologer knows how to figure out a mantra. So you got to find one who knows about mantra and knows how to prescribe a mantra for you. So this mantra is very good prescription for healing of emotions, healing of the mind, healing of your mental state. Why do I think this is so important right now? I'm getting chills thinking about it. We are in the midst of a crisis of identity. And as I've been saying, without really knowing why, before I even really knew what the heck was going on, I was saying, we are entering into a new dark ages. And that is absolutely the case. And what was the main thing that was going on during the dark ages? The dark ages is when the the religious elite, which were associated with armies, which were associated with conquering governments. They not only conquered places, they conquered all, places in Europe. Really, that's where they did most of their conquering. They conquered all of North and Western Europe. They didn't just conquer them and make them part of their empire. They conquered them and brought religion with them. And the first thing that showed up before these elite rulers that were trying to consolidate all of the land and all of the people as much as they could in the world, they brought with them a very powerful weapon, a psychological warfare weapon, and that weapon was Abrahamic monotheism. And so before the troops would come in, the priests would come in and they would evangelize. And then the troops would come in and they would put a sword to your neck and they would say, you either convert to Christianity or we kill you. And they would. Rivers of blood flowed, and out of fear, many people gave themselves to this new religion. If they weren't threatened by the sword, they were threatened economically. So this was creating a vast network of control, economic control, and so people would surrender to this new religion in order to be part of the matrix. So we entered the matrix a long time ago. We are entering a new dark ages. So this is a mental bubble of control. And I could get into all the specifics. You already know we do not live in a free world. We live in a corporatocracy that is ruling all of the governments and all facets of our reality. Big tech, big media, governments, etc., etc., etc. So we have one tool to destroy that, and that is our consciousness. And if we direct our consciousness deliberately towards destroying that bubble of power which seeks to control and dominate us and enslave us, then we can defeat them, because no matter how technologically advanced they are, no matter, I mean, and I'm talking about, the more that I look into this, the psychological and spiritual and technological weapons that these people have is, you know, beyond any science fiction movie I've ever seen. But there's one thing that they don't have, and they don't have access to true spiritual power, true consciousness. That is something that is given freely to every individual in the world. If you're a human being, you have a direct connection to the most powerful conscious source in the universe, and you have that through your soul. And if you're a physical human being, you also have the mind, which reflects the soul. So by chanting to Mahadeva, you access this power of the mind, the true mind, to reflect and connect with the source of all consciousness, which is the soul. Now, we have a 12-syllable mantra, and as I was saying, it's very important to understand what all this stuff means. It's not really all that important. If you just do the mantra, you're okay, but it is helpful to know. Especially if you're interested in Vedic astrology, you need to know this. So the Mahadeva mantra that I'm going to give is a 12-syllable mantra. It's made up of 4 words and 12 syllables. 4 words are Ong, which is Om. If you see OM, it's actually pronounced with an NG. That stimulates the pineal and the pituitary gland. Even many people in India don't understand the true pronunciation of those seed sounds. They always have an NG at the end of them, but they're written with an M. You know, Hrim, Cream, Shrim actually have an NG. So Ong, that's the first word. Second word is Namo. Ong, as you know, is the master seed sound of this age. It used to be the master seed sound before this age was Ing, which is the power of Indra. Indra used to be the conquering deliverer of the human race, and so the master seed sound of the Vedic time was Ing, but now it's Ong. And then Namo, which means, that's the second word, which means to bow. Bhagavate, which is another word for supreme divinity. And then Mahadevaya, which means pertaining to or the power of Mahadeva. Mahadeva means Maha, which means, we have it in English, mighty, Mah, Macht. Mighty, mighty Deva is light. So Mahadeva means the great light. And of course, when we talk about light, we're talking about celestial light, which is what? The soul. So we're talking about the power, the great power of light. Mahadeva, the great God, the great divinity, however you want to look at it. So Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya means Ong, which stimulates the power of the third eye. I bow to the great divinity, to the Godhead, however you want to look at the divine power of the great light. Ong, I bow to the divine power of the great light. Here's the thing. Shiva has a mantra that is very well known, which is Shivoham. Now, not many other deities do that, but Shiva says, here's a mantra for you. Shivoham means, I am Shiva. So when you chant to this mantra, when you chant to this mantra and the Bhagavate part, the God part, the Godhead, it's you. You're chanting to your own power, your own immenseness, your own infinity. You are the God of this universe. You don't have to understand any of that to chant the mantra, but if you like to know, that's what it is. So the fourth house is your comfort. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Fourth house, 4 words. The fourth house in Vedic astrology is your comfort. It's your nourishment. It's your mother. And then the 12th house, because there's 12 syllables, 4 words, 12 syllables, it takes the power of the 4th house and brings it to the 12th house. The 12th house is liberation from this physical body. It means healing. It means moksha. It means freedom from reincarnation. It means freedom from bondage of the physical earth. It means freedom from delusion, illusion. So you will find that drinking the nectar of the moon will bring to you this comfort and healing of the 4th house, and will take you to the 12th house, which will give you spiritual freedom and liberation from your negativity, from your those things that are bringing you down, things that you're working through. So we are going to chant this, and I'm going to go ahead and play that mantra for you again. And you can chant along with it. You can listen to it. Of course, this will be archived, so you can always come back and listen to it whenever you want. And, it's set up in sets of 108. So you can tell when it starts and when it stops. And so that way you don't have to, use a mala to count. You can just let it take you through 108 repetitions of any mantra. Brings the power of that mantra into all 108 nadis in the body. So it means 108 repetitions means you've chanted the mantra 1 full time in your whole bodily system. All right? So you can do this for as long as you want. This is a safe mantra. This is a one-size-fits-all mantra. Anybody can do it because we all need the power of the healing power of the moon. So I hope I've explained that for you. Now forget everything I've just said. Get yourself comfortable and let us chant this mantra together. I will just let it go for, however long, and I'll check in every now and then if I have something I want to say or whatever. And then at the end, maybe I'll have a few words, and then we'll see what happens. We'll just see where it takes us. All right? So get yourself comfortable or enjoy, because here it comes. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. 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 Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya.
Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. 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 Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya.
Okay, people. So hopefully that was pleasant for you. I can only speak for myself that the vibration of Mahadeva is fulfilling and relaxing and empowering and brings a feeling of peace, serenity, and just the beauty of the moon. So I'm going to click it again. I'm loopy, so I'm having a hard time making words when I meditate like this. It's hard for me to speak sometimes. So I'm going to play that one more time. We're going to play it one time through, 108 repetitions if you're still here and you want to. And I'd like for you to specifically think about something that you would like to bring healing to, change, balance, whether that be maybe some healing in your physical body, whether that be healing in your psychological life, your emotional life. You can also focus on the world. And if you want, maybe there's something about what is going on with this bubble of perception maybe you'd like to change, get rid of. Maybe you'd like to use this in a way to bring awareness to those that might be bringing discord or violence or imbalance or dis-ease to this world, those people who are in positions of perceived power. However you want. Find something specific to focus on. If you choose, you don't have to. I'm okay if you don't. But you can do that. And let's just do this another round, 108. And then I'll come back and I'll have some final comments. All right. See you in just a few minutes.
Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. 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 Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya.
Okay, now we can come out of our meditative trance and bring yourself back into your body. If you're still with me, if you've been doing this, bring yourself back into your body. I don't know that there's really a whole lot to say. Your experience is your experience, and this is, for me, a really beautiful mantra. But of course, the moon is my dharma devata, so anytime I chant to the moon, and of course Mahadeva is a deity that vibrates very strongly with me, with my ascendant, with my dharma devata. I find that this mantra and this vibration of Shiva has a strong association with the ascended masters. The moon, as you know, in the northwest is the direction of the elves, which is in my my genetic ancestry, those beings were seen as very powerful beings associated with ancestors, specifically associated with what we would consider to be ascended masters of all kinds. It makes me wonder who they were, what they were, but that's a phrase that I use, ascended masters, when I'm talking about beings that are of an extremely high level of consciousness and vibration, which we are all destined to experience. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts about that. I think there was a couple of quick questions which I'm happy to answer, and then we can, if you need to, just go on your way. First of all, let's say hello to Vincent.thunderwizard.com, who is also one of my Vedic astrologers. You can go to his website, Vincent.thunderwizard.com, see what he's all about. Agent of the Universe has a question. I can feel my hands shaking when I do the yin-yang hands. Is this a good sign? Yes. And if you want to know what he's talking about, you can go up here to the Warrior 90-Day Challenge Lightning Qigong and subscribe. And you will see numerous videos about the yin-yang hands. And the yin-yang hands it's the most powerful single practice that I can give to you. It's the most, I shouldn't say the most powerful, but it is the most fundamental and all-encompassing. All of the other energy practices that we teach in the Mao Shan and in the Lightning Qigong specifically, the Mao Shan is based on that. We're just extrapolating. I'm doing it right there. That is an extrapolation of the yin-yang hands. I can literally offer you nothing more powerful. They're called the teacher hands, the master hands. So, yes, when your hands are shaking, that means that your body is filled with energy, and the nerves and the tendons of the body are filled with energy. So it's important that you balance that by always putting your hands right over left and put them over your navel, and or do the whole breath posture to balance that energy. He also says, I'm also feeling pain in one of my shoulders as I do the practices, and I don't know if it's unconscious resistance, but I'm theorizing it might be. Well, it could be that. It could be unconscious resistance, because when you do any of the Mao Shan practices, one of the things that will happen is that you will become aware of your unconscious feelings. And so, as we know, unconscious resistance is when our unconscious mind, which thinks it's protecting us, will try and prevent us from experiencing these things. And lots of times we will feel physical imbalance, including physical pain. So the shoulders are representing of, carrying the world on our shoulders. It's a lot of self-protection there. So you can start by, working on loosening the shoulders and finding a balance, when you stand. See if you're imbalanced in any way, and try and balance that out. That's what these are really good for. This practice right here, if you do this, it will balance out all of that unconscious stuff that's stuck in the body. The other thing that may be happening is that when you release that amount of life force energy, especially when we're releasing the lightning energy from the heart, what ends up happening is that the meridians of the body, think of them like garden hoses. And so there's water coming out of the garden hoses. But what if the hose is kinked? Well, then all of that energy, that water is trying to go through there, but it's kinked. And then all you have to do is unkink it, and then it flows, and then there's no problem. So lots of times the meridians are actually blocked. And this is a good sign because energy is coming through. And so the more that you relax, the more that you unkink that hose, and then the pain will go away. Oftentimes it's a combination of the two. Either way, it doesn't matter. It just means relax into it, become more conscious, and the the imbalance will resolve itself. It's a good sign. So it means that the practice is working. So keep it up. And of course, this is a very, very, very high level, intense practice. And it's okay to back off if you're doing the yin yang hands for an hour a day and you're flipping out because the reality is coming apart at the seams and you're having a hard time holding it together. It's okay. You can bring it back 15 minutes. I'm using an hour is a long time, so you can back it off if you want. Completely up to you. What's most important is that you do what you can every day. So if doing it 3 minutes a day, if you know that you can do that every single day, then that's what you commit to. You do more than that, great, as long as you go back to what you've committed to. But if you do too much, that's when people give up. It feels great the first time you do it. Oh my God, I've never felt so much energy in my life. And then so that you do it an hour and a half the next day, and then you wake up the next day and you're coming apart at the seams and you don't do it. So do what you know that you can commit to and commit to that, and make sure that you follow through with that commitment. You're not ready to commit? Not a problem. Don't commit until you're ready. It's very, very powerful stuff. Vincent.thunderwizard.com. Honest feeling. It makes me feel sad and guilty that my mom doesn't accept me and my spiritual path. I think my individuation is frightening to her. You are absolutely correct. So it's great that you're having that feeling. And here's the thing. She doesn't have to accept you. She doesn't have to accept your spiritual path any more than I have to like disco music. I don't like it. I don't have to like it. She doesn't have to understand and accept your spiritual path. And so a loving thing to do is to allow her to not have to accept you and stop trying to get her to accept you. In other words, don't share personal, intimate stuff with her, any more than you would ask me, hey, do you want to go to a disco concert? No, I don't. Oh, come on, go. It's my thing. I know, but it's not my thing. Okay. I'm going to go enjoy it. You go enjoy it. I'll be here when you get back. Let your mom be herself. So in other words, this is your need. You need to be accepted for who you are. And as you know, what do we teach in Vedic astrology? What does the Aruda teach us? Nobody ever sees us for who we really are. They see us for who they perceive us to be. And in the case of your mom, you're asking her to do something she's never done. It's not fair of you to demand that of her. It's okay to be hurt, but this is part of your individuation, as you know. Feeling sad is one thing. Feeling guilty is another thing. Right? Anyway, you didn't ask my help, so I'll just let you have that feeling. Agent of the Universe, I was doing the yin-yang hands while the mantra was going on. Me too. Powerful, huh? Feels really good. Very good. All right. So you've been committing to the practice. Good for you. So I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm feeling very high and very loopy from that mantra. And so I'm going to relax and let that energy move through me. As always, this channel is about doing the practices. So there's free practices on the channel. You can go and search in the playlist for the see how loopy I am. You can go look for on the playlist the Awakening the Immortals Qigong. That is part of this practice you're seeing over here. And if you really want to get the most out of this powerful Maoshan energy practice that we're doing, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Do it now. We're in the beginning of the month. This is a good time to do it. If you want the most advanced, you can go here. Also, we've got these links right here. Go check them out. Courses.thunderwizard.com to see everything that I have to offer. And That's it. If you have any questions for me personally, you can leave them in the video comment section of any video. And if I like your question, I'll make a video about it. Check out my new channel, which is Mahadeva Speaks, which is where I channel the Ascended Master named Mahadeva. And we're still discovering who he is and what he tells us. And if you have any questions for the Ascended Master Mahadeva, you can write questions for him on that channel. I'm sure you can find it. Just type in Mahadeva Speaks. You'll find it on YouTube. That's it for me, guys. I wish you all the best. Sleep well, and I will see you all very soon. Take care.
Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadevaya. Ong Namo Bhagavate Mahadeva.